Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the 100k Q&A, boys! We finally did it, we hit 100k. I put out a video when I actually hit it like a few days ago at this point, kind of celebrating and everything and thanking you guys for it. This video is going to be the answering 100 questions for 100k and also the 100k gem giveaway. So throughout the video, as I'm answering the questions, I'm going to be throwing some codes up on screen with a few of the characters missing and a little thing to solve to actually get the missing characters, just to stop bots getting them. You know, people could probably just scan through the video and like screen capture the codes and just like immediately input them and stuff, and I don't want them all to go to like one person that's just like botting to basically get them. So it's going to be a small like little thing to solve on screen as well, just like to get the missing numbers that are going to be replaced by X's. So anywhere you see an X, you just need to solve the puzzle that's underneath the code, and then you input the code with the replaced letters, and then you'll get the gems. There's going to be a whole bunch of different packs throughout here, but I'm not going to be labeling which are which. So like it could be 400 gems, it could be 8,000 gems. You'll never know until you put the code in. So that should be pretty interesting. And just to note, these keys are PC only. You can't redeem them on console, unfortunately. The way you can get these keys, they just unfortunately aren't redeemable on console. So sadly, only PC players are going to be able to use these, but hopefully they are useful for you guys on PC. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump in with our first question. And the first one is from Nico from my Discord. How many gems will Miko get? That's the question, isn't it? Maybe you could get this amount of gems. You know, maybe you could. Next up, from Afro OTP. What's the one god besides Nuar that should have their old kit back? Oh, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Because it would definitely be Nuar for me. Old War's kit was like so much fun. I really liked Old War's kit. I think Vulcan, potentially. Maybe not Vulcan gets his old kit back, but maybe some kind of similar kit to old Vulcan I think could be interesting, that's based around a lot of turrets and deployables. Because really, new Vulcan is just entirely like a burst mage with just one like turret, whereas back in the day he had two different turrets and his ult like buffed up his turrets with extra procs and fire rate and stuff like that. It was kind of like Torbjorn style from Overwatch in a way, but in Smite. And I think a god like that could potentially be an interesting design with the sort of experience that the modern design team have with that kind of stuff, because it feels like maybe back in the day they didn't really know how to make it work, and that's why they reworked him into a more generic burst mage. I mean, don't get me wrong, Vulcan's still fun in his current design, but I think something like that could be interesting to bring back to the game. Deforce asks, bro, bruv, or bruh? Definitely bruh. Sham asks, do you have any tips for someone who would want to start a channel themselves? So this is an interesting one. My main tip, I guess, for people starting a channel is look at what other channels in that kind of like niche that you're going for, look at what they're doing and try and find something they're not doing. Or try and find a way that you can do it better than they're doing it. So like, for example, when I started my channel, I was looking at Smite content and I was like, there's a lot of people posting like analytical videos, there's a lot of people posting guides, a lot of people posting gameplay videos and stuff like that, like stream re-uploads. And I was like, you know what, there's not a lot of people posting like quick informative videos or top 10 videos. As that's kind of what I went for with like my initial videos on my channel. There was a lot of like top 5s and top 10s and quick informative videos, because I felt like there was a bit of a gap in the market there, and that was how I kind of initially like launched my channel off the ground past, you know, about 1,000 subs. And like to get you started, you really need to differentiate yourself, because if you're a smaller channel, most likely you have less experience editing and making the videos entertaining. That was definitely the case with me. My editing and my like voice recording and stuff, my confidence in terms of recording videos and stuff like that back in the day was not anything near what it is now. So like if, for example, if you were trying to launch a channel to compete with my channel or other big channels, you gotta like find a way that you can either do something they're not doing, because then people will go to your channel for that, or do something they are doing but do it better or in a more unique way, or like something that differentiates your channel a bit and brings people to it. You don't want to just start a channel uploading stream re-uploads, because people will just go watch Mast or Weekend or Sam the Dude or Rexy or whatever. Engineering Paper asks, if you could choose from any seasons, what 3 metas would you want back and or would be put together? Put together is interesting. I'm not sure. That would be way too much to answer, I think. But what 3 metas would I want back? I think Dirty Bubble meta would be pretty funny. Season 2 tank meta, obviously. I'm a filthy tank main, and I would love to see that come back. In terms of a third one, probably Power Pot meta, I think. Was it Season 3 or Season 4 when we had Power Pot meta, where level 1 you would buy the 500 gold Power Pot on mid and jungle? There was like a lot of E-set back in the day, a lot of Thor, a lot of Poseidon, a lot of like high pressure, high clear mages with that power pot were doing really well back then. And I thought it was quite a fun meta. It encouraged early aggression. It was a little bit snowbally, but I think it was pretty interesting. I'd like to see that again. Also, if you had the chance to build a character in current Smite, what kit would they have and how would they work? So like passive and class types such as Assassin. So I actually do have a video on this. I have a video of a god design that I made that actually did quite well. It was for Yu Huang and now he's released. Oh, it wasn't Yu Huang, it was the Jade Emperor, but it was a different kind of iteration on the Jade Emperor called Tiangong. I made a concept for that, so I'll link that down in the description below. I'm pretty proud of that concept, and it's basically for a no damage support guardian that like just buffs up their teammates, debuffs enemies, applies effects and stuff like that, but deals no damage completely. How many times have you hit 100k damage? Probably countless times at this point. I wouldn't remember, but I've hit 100k damage quite a few times. 100k healing I don't think I've ever done though. That would be very hard to do. And skin thoughts / collabs. I would like to see a Pokemon Battle Pass at some point, or just Pokemon event in general. Never gonna happen, I don't think, but if Hi-Rez somehow managed to strike that deal with Nintendo to get Pokemon skins, I think it would be absolutely sick. I would immediately buy all of them. They could even do it where like maybe you start as like the base evolution or something like that and you evolve throughout the game. I mean, that's getting close to being a tier 5, but if they make them like 4,000 gems, I'll still buy them, dude. Like, I will still buy them. I love Pokemon, and I think the idea of them like evolving throughout the game into their like final evolutions will be absolutely sick. Imagine like Sylvanas Metagross or something, like he starts as a little Beldum and then by the final thing he's like walking around on 4 legs, Metagross style thing. I think it'd be completely sick. Buff Shiva asks, favorite non-Smite game? Probably Divinity Original Sin 2, pound for pound. Like, it's not the game I have the most hours in, but it's the game I probably enjoyed each hour the most. Divinity is such a good game. I like Minecraft as well, though. Minecraft I have so many hours in. A lot of hours in Hearthstone. I don't really play Hearthstone anymore, but I used to play so much Hearthstone back in the day as well. Elder Scrolls Online is like my main MMO that I go to as well. But yeah, I think in terms of overall favourite non-Smite game, probably Divinity 2. Niforce again asks, should the protection cap be increased so we can have less % MIT items in the game and make tanks not get 5-shot? % MIT is a really powerful stat, and I'm not a lover of the direction tank item balance is taking right now, seeing as though they're always having a rough time balancing solo and support items to stay in their roles. Yeah, balancing items to stay in their roles is a very hard thing to do without like strictly like class limiting them or something, which would be a terrible idea in my opinion. I think they do okay with it. Like, Prophetic isn't built much on solo laners. Thebes is only built on solo laners, like, late game sometimes, if you can, like, stack it really quickly. They are mainly, like, staying in support. And solo lane items coming into support is generally not a thing that happens too much. I mean, Glad Shield, maybe. In terms of a protection cap increase, I don't know, to be honest. I would have to look at the maths on it and see how much it would actually be reducing by if you actually increase the prot limit. Personally, in my anti-tank video that I recently put out, I suggested we just have a % mitigation cap, and I think that's the best solution to all this kind of stuff. You just cap % mit at 30 or 40%, and then you still have powerful % mit items in the game, but you can't stack them up to 70, 80% and just make the game completely unfun for anyone trying to kill you. I think that's probably the best solution to it. Distant Sage asks, cool name by the way, I like that name. What is the one god you find extremely fun to play but just absolutely suck at? If there is no one now, then in the past. Tiamat. Also Set, also Yamoja. Probably about it. Kind of Persephone in a way in terms of old Persephone. I could probably play new Persephone because she's significantly dumbed down, but old Persephone I wasn't great at. But to be fair, I don't really find old Persephone that fun to play either, so that doesn't really count. But yeah, Set, Yamoja, Tiamat. I would like to be good at all 3 of those. I'm getting better at Yamoja. I've been practicing my Yamoja a little bit recently, and I'm kind of getting a little better at her, but Set and Tiamat I still suck at. What keeps you making Smite videos, and will you ever consider making videos on any other game? I keep making Smite videos because I'm just enjoying the game, and I enjoy making content for the game. I think you can make a lot of interesting content for MOBAs, so it's quite cool to express my creativity with Smite videos and stuff like that. And I have made some videos on other games before. I've made some Hearthstone videos playing like Battlegrounds. I did a Minecraft live stream once. It wasn't a video, but it was a live stream. And I've made, I think, 3 Divinity videos as well that have done really well. So I always make the occasional Divinity video because they don't do well on launch because most of you guys probably aren't interested in it if you don't play the game, which is completely understandable. But once they get picked up by the algorithm, they actually get shown to people that like Divinity. They do quite well. So I always make like the occasional Divinity video like once or twice a year, basically. Jack Crispy asks, if you could add one god to the game, which one would you pick? Probably Kratos from God of War, or just Kratos from mythology in general. I think it'd be really cool if they could somehow add Kratos, the God of War design, into Smite. I've made a concept for him on my channel. I think it'd be really cool, but once again, kind of like the Pokemon thing, I highly doubt they would actually be able to get that into the game, but it'd be sick if they could. Elias Payne asks, which would be the one season in Smite you would want to revisit if it could be for any reason? Probably Season 2 or Season 5. Season 2 for the rampant tank meta, release Bellona, release Amaterasu, and Season 5 because the new map was like so hype, and also I think Baron released in that season, and also King Arthur at the end of the season as well. Cass asks, what's your favorite type of video to make, like guides, rants, gameplay, etc.? Probably rants. Rants, like, I can't always make a rant, but when I actually like have the passion to make one, I find them really fun to make. You know, there's a lot of joking around in those videos. They're very fun to write, they're fun to record, they're fun to edit, and sometimes I have like random meme tags in there and stuff. Nivix, congrats on 100k, awesome to see the channel grow, thank you, it's very cool. So he has 2 questions. Do you think the non-conquest balance is a good idea long-term for Smite? This is going to be a hot take, but no. I actually think it's not a great idea. Mainly because Smite has so many different game modes that just labeling them as non-conquest is pretty stupid. We saw this originally with Duel. I think they've removed non-conquest balance from Duel now, right? Which just confuses it even more because it's not even non-conquest balance. It's non-conquest, non-Duel balance now. Because I think they removed it because they realized it was a terrible idea because assassins in non-conquest are generally a lot worse than they are in conquest, but assassins in Duel are like just as good as they are in conquest, if not even potentially better. Like assassins after hunters are like the main class that see play in Duel, and so when they were buffing assassins in like Joust and Arena and stuff because they're bad in those game modes, they made them really ridiculously OP in Duel and had to walk that back, and now it's not applied to Duel, and it causes a lot of weird issues. I don't really have a better solution, to be honest, other than like making individual balance for each individual game mode, but that's going to be really confusing for new players and stuff. So, you know, when they like hop into like Joust and their Ares ultimate cooldown is 150 seconds, but then they hop into Conquest and it's 90 or something, it's just really kind of confusing. But yeah, as I said, I don't really have a better solution, so it's kind of a difficult one. Hires are going to have to like work on a solution for that. Also, are there any other live service games you consider making content for? Probably not, I don't think. As I said, I've made Divinity videos, but it's definitely not a live service game. That's just like a solo RPG that you purchase and play. I guess technically I've made a few videos for Predecessor and Overprime, so I guess those count. I don't really have that much interest in making loads of content for those games, but I've made the occasional video on them. If you had the ability to make a new mode for Smite or bring back an old one that was later removed, what would it be? So 2 different questions here, actually. In terms of removing a game, bringing back an old removed game mode, I would definitely bring back Siege. I think Siege is super fun. It played very different to Slash, and Slash is fine, but I would like to see Siege back. In terms of a new game mode, some kind of 2v2 game mode. I have a concept on my channel again for this one. I feel like I'm self-promoting like all my videos in this Q&A. But hopefully if you guys are watching this, you probably care about the channel and might want to watch those videos. So I have a 2v2 game mode concept on my channel called, what was it called? Upheaval. Yeah, Upheaval. Concept for a 2v2 mode that like is kind of split 1v1s and then it all converges into one lane like Assault for like a big 2v2 at the end. It's kind of a weird concept. It goes outside of the borders of what Smite normally kind of goes for, but I think some kind of 2v2 game mode, regardless of how it's done, like a permanent 2v2 mode, would be really cool. For Alligator asks, do you think Overprime and Predecessor will overtake Smite, or will it perhaps increase the competition and pressure on high-res? It will definitely increase the competition and pressure for sure. In terms of whether they'll overtake Smite, I don't think so. Because I think even Paragon back in the day wasn't more popular than Smite. I might be wrong on that. I didn't play too much Paragon. Maybe it was more popular than I thought, but from what I've seen from the launch of Overprime and Predecessor, they're not that popular, and I don't see them really overtaking Smite. But yeah, it will definitely increase competition and put pressure on high-res to like make better changes and stuff like that. You know, maybe you could even say that Year 10 is like a result of that. It probably isn't. It probably just they wanted to go like hardcore in Year 10 and make it really good and stuff, but they made a lot of cool changes in Year 10, and you could argue potentially it's had an impact on it with the launch of Overprime and Predecessor last year. If you were given the opportunity to create a god for Smite, what would their kit look like? And congrats on 100k. I tried to avoid duplicate questions, but apparently I selected a couple of duplicates. Basically, this would be my Tiangong god concept. Some kind of no damage god concept would be really cool, I think. Very hard to balance, most likely, but I think it will be quite cool. And again, that video is linked down below if you want to check it out. Sham asks, can I have another chess rematch? I'm still 0-12 against you. Yeah, at some point. When I start doing streams again, when I have better internet, I currently can't stream. Like, it's just impossible from my current internet situation. It's really not good enough. But when I can stream again, I'll definitely do some chess streams. And I will rematch you, Sham, for sure. Robo King, do you ever think... Oh, okay, I just mentioned this. Do you ever think you'll get back into streaming? And if you do, what game would you play? Yes, I will get back into streaming, as I said, once I get better internet. I would stream Smite, and then also random variety stuff like I used to. Like Pokemon Nuzlocke. I'll probably end up showing off my Minecraft world again, because I did a stream showing off my Minecraft world, and I've done a lot more in it, so I'll probably end up doing a Minecraft world tour again. Maybe I'll stream some other things as well. We'll have to see. What was the most exciting thing about Smite during your adventure with the game? Congratulations on the 100k. Keep it going. Thank you. The most exciting thing about Smite... It's always the new maps for me. I would have to say either Year 10 launch has been very exciting or Season 5 launch. Because Season 5, the new map was like a huge change from Season 4 and like kind of revitalized the game a lot. So either that or the launch of Year 10. The launch of Year 10 was also very cool with like a bunch of removed items, bunch of new items, bunch of changed items, new map, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, new season launches in general are always the most exciting portion of the game. Reagan Groves, if you could only ever play one god from each class for the rest of your Smite career, which gods would they be and why? Okay, that's an interesting one. Let me get the gods list up here. Alright, so for Assassins, probably Raven, I think. I've been spamming Raven lately. You can also play him in 2 roles, arguably 3. In my opinion, he's viable in mid as long as you have like a magical ADC of some kind, which is definitely doable in this meta. Very versatile, fun god to play. Probably Raven for my assassin. I'm torn between Bacchus and Geb. Bacchus is a little more versatile and can be built full damage, and that's kind of funny. Also, he has the Iroh skin. Probably Bacchus, I would say, for my Guardian. Hunter, Ula, no question. By far the most fun Hunter, in my opinion. Can flex into mid. Doesn't play like a Hunter, but I don't like the Hunter playstyle. I prefer like the ability burst that Ula brings. Mage, probably Baron or Scylla, but Baron's more versatile. Because I'm thinking about versatility here. If I can only play one god from the class forever, I want to be able to play them in like multiple different roles and playstyles. And Baron kind of brings that to the table more than Scylla does. So yeah, we'll probably go for Baron for the mage. And finally, the warrior. You know, honestly, most of these warriors I would be happy playing. As much as he's not flexible, probably Arthur. Arthur's just a boy, right? Like, I think I would just have to go with Arthur for my warrior. What would you say is your most memorable memory while playing Smite or from doing YouTube? Absolutely stoked to see you hit 100k. Been here since 60k. Congrats. Thank you. 60k was like quite a while ago, to be fair. From doing YouTube, probably hitting 100k. I mean, obviously, it wasn't long ago, but I think I'll remember this for quite a while. And in terms of playing Smite, I think it'll probably have to be either when I stole my mate's speed buff and he absolutely screamed his head off that I already had enemy speed buff because I invaded enemy speed, I still had like 80 seconds left on it and I just walked past and stole his speed buff. And he got very mad at that and absolutely screamed, and that was funny. Also, when my other friend got tower dived by Guan Yu, he was playing the Morrigan, and he completely smashed his entire keyboard on stream. That was very funny. So yeah, basically it's my friends raging, mostly at me. Are my favourite memories of Smite. That proves how toxic I am. Matt Pope asks, what is your single favourite video you've made, whether it's a fun video in a series like the one god in every mode, or a more serious match video or a rant that I'm particularly proud of? Congrats, dude, you deserve it. Here's to 900k. Yeah, I don't know about another 900k subs, but we can dream, boys. In terms of my favourite video I've ever made, probably the every season in a nutshell video. That one's done quite well, so probably a lot of you have seen it, but that was like a really fun one to make, and I'm very proud of the result of it. It's got a bunch of nostalgia in there for people that played before, and if you didn't play before, it's got like a lot of, you can see how the old seasons worked. Covers like the SPL, all the major changes made to the game throughout seasons and stuff like that. It's basically a timeline of the entire life cycle of Smite up until year 10 launch. Congrats on the 100k subs, keep it up, thank you. What would be another type of class, like hunters or mages, that you would add to the game? So again, I guess I'll plug one of my older videos here. I made a video on like 2 new classes that could be added to the game called Fighter and Enchanter. And basically Fighters are like an in-between between Assassins and Warriors, because I feel like Smite has always kind of had a problem classifying Assassins and Warriors. A lot of them have changed from like Warrior to Assassin or vice versa. Actually, maybe not vice versa. I think it's mostly Warriors have changed to be Assassins, so like Raven, Thor, Nemesis. A lot of those gods have changed from Warrior to Assassin, so it seems like they kind of have trouble classifying between those, and they do have similar playstyles in a way, and like some of the less tanky warriors could be fighters, and some of the more tanky assassins could be fighters. So you would have like Erlang Shen would be a fighter, Raven would definitely be a fighter, Nemesis would probably be one as well, Thor definitely as well. So you would have like a class that kind of takes some from those, and then you could release a few new fighters alongside it to kind of flesh out the class a little bit. And then in terms of the Enchanter class, it's kind of like a more utility-focused mage class. So they're not tanky like Guardians, but they're more utility-focused. So the healers would go in Enchanter, Baron would probably go in Enchanter, Nox might go in there as well, and then you could release a few other ones, again, to fill out the class that are more, like, specifically Enchanter designed. Just to kind of, like, give people a bit more of a focus on what the character is actually doing. Because mages, specifically, there's so much variety in the mage class. You know, with magical ADCs, magical assassins, healers, utility mages, burst mages. Like, a lot of the mages are very different despite being in the same class. So I feel like Enchanter class could separate a few of those. Nobody asks, as for a question, I want to know what was your favourite and least favourite Broken God period? For example, mine is Prime King Arthur before the nerfs, and for least favourite, you hated the RTO meta. You know what? I think for least favourite, I'm going to have to go with you on the RTO meta, man. That was really not fun. She was so broken on release and one of the most annoying gods to play. So when she was broken, super annoying. In terms of most favourite, either Baron or Suku, I think. I absolutely spammed those guys at release. Surprisingly, I didn't spam that much King Arthur at release. It was mainly like in Season 6 that I was playing a lot of Arthur. But yeah, Baron, Suku releases, both absolutely a lot of fun for me. Do you like the Season 10 Conquest map, and if I could change one thing about it, what would it be? Yeah, I really like the Season 10 map. I think it's a significant improvement on the previous one. A lot of the new mechanics are really cool too. In terms of changing one thing about it, I will probably add more jungle camps, I think. It is a little bit sparse on camps at certain times. Especially, you know, in the early game, once everyone's cleared up the jungle and the jungler really only has their speed and maybe green buff left up. So yeah, probably a few more camps dotted around the place would help spice things up a bit. They'll probably end up doing that throughout the season, I would imagine. Theodore Bradshaw asks, two-part question, do you ever think there could be a quad stance switcher? And if so, how do you think it could be done? Quad stance switcher? Probably not going to happen, but it probably could be done. You know, maybe you have it where, like, every time you cast an ability, you switch to the next stance, and you kind of like Arthur in a way, but with 4 stances, so you just rotate around. So, like, if it was a mage, for example, this obviously sounds way too much like melee, but maybe you cast an ability in arcane stance, and it switches you to fire, and you cast a fire ability, switches you to ice. So you cast an ice ability, switches you to earth, or something like that. And you kind of, like, switch around between different elements, or, you know, different, like, fighting styles or something. Maybe it's, like, karate and judo and whatever, like, different fighting styles. If it was going to be a physical character. I think it could work, but it would be difficult to balance, probably, because they would have... Depending on how you did it, they would have 12 or 16 abilities, which would be very hard to balance because they're always going to have like a bunch of different options for like the different situations. All right, we have a myriad of questions here from Jay Meowstick2x1. Congrats on 100k. Hope you keep going strong into the foreseeable future. Thank you very much. But now with his questions, what is the dumbest thing you want in game and why? The dumbest thing I want in game, probably Jesus. Jesus would be pretty dumb to add, but I think it'd be funny. What awful meta do you want back? Probably, I've mentioned this before, but the power pop meta, like, arguably it was a pretty awful meta, because it really encouraged a lot of snowball, but I kind of liked that in a way. Like, a certain amount of snowball, I think, is good and fun for the game, because you don't want people just sitting there, like, not caring about the early game or whatever, and just sitting in the tower. Like, you do want some kind of snowball to, like, light a fire under people and make them actually play the game. So yeah, I think power pop meta back would be cool. What god design do you think will never be in the game? I mean, I guess Jesus, as I just mentioned. Also Kratos, that I mentioned before throughout the Q&A. Non-Smite, if you could make a new Pokemon region, what would it be based on and why? So before Sword and Shield, I would have said a region based on the UK. I think that would be very cool. But maybe a region based on like either Scandinavia or like Iceland, Greenland, maybe even Antarctica, like a really snowy region. I know they have Sinnoh, but it's not like fully snowy. It's only snowy like around the mountains. So something like that would be pretty cool, I think. Non-Smite, what's your favorite music genre? So I sort of kind of have two moods for music. It depends on if I'm feeling like upbeat and like if I'm in a gamer mood or whatever, or if I just want to chill and just like sit on my bed, listen to some music. So if I'm in like an upbeat, energetic mood, I like to listen to a lot of power metal, like Dragon Force, Avantasia, Unisonic, those kind of bands. And then if I'm feeling in a more chill mood, I like a lot of classic rock, so like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Whitesnake, that kind of stuff. Number 6, are you excited for Tears of the Kingdom? Unfortunately, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Have you heard of Splatoon and are you planning on playing it eventually? I've heard of it. It's where Inkling comes from in Smash, right? And nah, it don't really look that interesting to me. Probably not going to play Splatoon. Thanos799. Wow, there's 798 Thanoses before this guy made his account. That is interesting. Two-parter here. Do you think there will ever be another class change for a current god? And if so, who would it be done for? And congrats on 100k. So thank you again. In terms of class changes, there probably will be, I think, but they haven't done one in a while, right? When was the last class change? Like, Erlang's rework is probably the closest thing we've had to a class change in a long time, and it wasn't really a class change. They just kind of shifted his playstyle to be more like his actual class. But then again, that's kind of failed and he's still played as a jungler, so maybe at some point, Erlang Shen might class change to an assassin. I think the only reason they don't want to do that is because they just class change warriors to assassins all the time. It's happened like 5 times already, so I don't think they really want to do it again because they're just going to end up thinning out the warrior roster enormously and they'll have to release more warriors and then people will complain because everyone thinks warriors are OP, so they'll probably have a problem with that. But yeah, I think maybe that would make the most amount of sense for like a class change. What's the main force behind you doing YouTube full time, and if you could change anything about the site, what would you change? So the main force behind me doing it full time is that I can. Like, I can do it full time. I'm gonna do it full time because this is by far like the most enjoyable thing I could do for a job, like straight up. You know, I'm gonna do this for as long as I can realistically do it, basically, because I love doing YouTube. And if you could change one thing about the site, what would you change? Probably, it's either between the monetization policy or the removal of dislikes. Re-enabling dislikes is definitely something I would like to do because really, I don't understand why they would ever do that. Like, yeah, dislike mobs exist, I guess, but for the most part, like, that's like on 99% of videos, on 99.999% of videos, they're not getting dislike bombed. Like, if they're getting disliked, they're probably because there's some crappy video that either they have a ridiculously unpopular opinion, or they say some heinous shit, or it's like a tutorial that's actually terrible or something like that. And people that are watching videos need to be able to know that. To like know if it's like a trash video and they should just immediately click off. So yeah, something like that, or maybe the monetization policy, because it's gotten a little bit restrictive over the years. Like, if you literally say the word fuck in like the first 8 seconds of your video, immediately demonetized regardless. And it's just like, who really cares, man? Like, it's either like late teens or young adults that mostly watch my videos. No one cares if I say the word fuck in my videos. Yeah, I get demonetized if I say it in like the first 8 seconds, so it probably, I would change things about the monetization policy as well. What item removed in the year 10 update do you miss the most? For me, it's Shifted Shield. I'm gonna be honest, like, I think most of the items that are removed were actually good for removal. A lot of them either weren't seeing play or just weren't that interesting. Kind of like Shifter Shield in a way, that might trigger you, Crazy Clown, but I think Shifter Shield wasn't that interesting of an item, really. In terms of the one I missed the most, probably Anchile. It was quite a niche pickup, but it was like really good against certain picks like Anubis and stuff. Frou asks, how do you feel about off-meta picks? I personally love picks like Dancer, Jungle, Baron, Solo, etc. since it brings much more variety to the game, but I'd love to see your opinion. Yeah, 100%, I'm all for off-meta picks. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I play Raven mid sometimes. Raven mid's a lot of fun, or physical mids in general, which are very off meta, unless you're playing like maybe Ula or Neath or something, that kind of better mids. What other game categories do you play and enjoy other than MOBAs? And congrats on 100k, you're the Smite GOAT, thank you very much. What other game categories do I enjoy? I like RPGs a lot, you know, Skyrim, Divinity, Fallout. I play a few card games. I've mentioned I play Hearthstone, I play Legends of Runeterra, the League of Legends card game. Magic the Gathering I don't play, but it's interesting to me, for sure. And then fighting games as well, I play Tekken and Smash. I've played Street Fighter, but didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoy Tekken. As someone who feels they can't get any better or worse, what is the best advice for someone to increase their skills with the ever-changing meta of the game? So this question really kind of depends on where you're at, because if you're really new to the game, I'll say the best way to improve is to like watch other people play and like figure out what they're doing and stuff like that. But if you're kind of if you're on the upper end, you know, if you're already like Diamond or Masters or something, that won't help you as much as like just experience with the game will help you, so like playing ranked or whatever. I would say playing ranked is a good way to improve though, because it puts you in like a real competitive environment where everyone is fully trying and you have to like really push yourself. Like for me, like I can play casuals and I just don't try anywhere near as hard as I would try in ranked, and other people don't either. So it really brings that competitive atmosphere to where you really have to play at your best to actually like win those games. And it gives you a lot of good experience, in my opinion. So I think regardless of level, there are tips specifically for people depending on your level of play, but I think regardless of level, playing ranked can really help you improve. Duda asks, I asked this in the birthday Q&A and you said it was a good idea. Please tell me when the every Smite item in 30 seconds or less is coming. It is coming. Don't worry, it's just a very long one. Every single item explained. There's a lot of editing, a lot of script writing, and a lot of other stuff. So it's going to take a while, but it is coming. It's probably going to be either my next major guy video or the one after that. I wanted to get out the every beginner god explained video first, because it's like new season, probably a lot of new people coming in, and I think it's important to get that kind of a video out. And 2, how do you get your hair to be like that? I just put like some matte clay, is what it's called. It's like hair gel, but it's kind of not gel. It's like paste. It's not like paste. I don't really know how to describe it. It's matte clay. You put it in and you just run it through your hair and then spikes it up a little bit. And that's basically it. In terms of like actual hairstyle, I just do it myself with like a trimmer. What god do you really want to see come to Smite, even if it's a pick that's out there like Jesus, and what abilities would you like to see on that god? Also, congrats on 100k. So I've kind of said this before with like I would like to see a no damage god, but in terms of like maybe a controversial one, I would like to see some of the Christian pantheon stuff added, you know, and maybe not necessarily Jesus or God or the Holy Spirit or anything like that, but maybe they could add like the Horsemen, or they could add like Lucifer or the Archangels or something like that. That could be pretty cool. Probably never going to happen because they're an American company with a largely American audience, and I imagine a lot of Americans that actually like fully believe in Christianity and have faith, they will probably not be too happy about seeing, like, you know, the Antichrist status of the game. I feel like a lot of the younger people that play the game wouldn't actually mind that much, but I feel like it'll probably piss off the boomers quite a lot. I'm starting a replay with my mate at Divinity 2, played a standard tank and an arrow fire wizard and want to play something different for the 2 characters I'll be playing, simply asking what's the most fun build or build you should use. I'm a Smite player and seen your Divinity video and decided to give it a go. Great game, credits go to you, keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you. Divinity, definitely one of, if not the best game I've ever played, so I highly recommend it to anyone that is watching and hasn't played it yet. It's like a tactical top-down turn-based RPG kind of thing, but it's more than that. It's really, really good. Has good story, good character development, good gameplay. It's a solid game. It's 10 out of 10. In terms of a fun build you could go for, personally, I really like Tanky Summoner. That's always like a build I kind of go back to, because in the game, summoning damage is based on your summoning skill. It's not based on any of your normal damaging skills, like strength, finesse, that kind of stuff. And so you can just go full tank, and if you have 10 summoning, your incarnate still hits like really hard. So I always like a tanky summoner build. You can give that a try. Whoa, Big Into Boy hit 100k. Let's go. Congrats, homie. Thank you. Thank you. My question is, out of all of the conquest maps ever made, which one was your favorite and least favorite? So favorite, I think I've kind of mentioned this before, but either the Year 10 map or the Season 5 map. The Season 5 map probably not as good objectively as the Year 10 map, but the Season 5 map came after Season 4 when the map was terrible, and so it made a big improvement to the game and kind of turned it around. The visuals are quite nice as well. In terms of least favourite overall, probably Season 3. It was basically similar to the Season 4 map that I just mentioned was trash, but it had even worse changes like the speed, fire elemental imps and stuff like that. And just like a really open design. Blue buff wasn't even installed, and it was a really weird map. So yeah, Season 3 probably my least favourite. Would you please break down your viewership demographics? I'd love to see how much people from each country watch our videos. Yeah, let's bring those up. Let's go into YouTube Studio. Yo, completely unrelated, but I've just seen the new Ryzen X3D benchmarks have come out, so I'm gonna watch that later after I've started recording this video. A little bit of a sidetrack there, but I just opened YouTube and saw that. I'm looking to get a new CPU for my new graphics card because I'm currently being bottlenecked pretty hard by my old i7, so. Alright, analytics, audience. Right, here we go. So top geographies of the last 28 days, 56% United States. My audience is like vast majority US. That's why I posted kind of US times. UK is next at 7.4, which makes sense. I'm from the UK, and also it's like probably one of the next major English-speaking countries. Canada afterwards, which kind of makes sense as well. A lot of Canada speaks English. Obviously, that's French Canada and stuff, but and then followed by Germany at 2.9% and Brazil at 1.5%. And then there'll be other ones as well. For gender, it is 2.7% female, 96.5% male, and 0.7% user specified. So we have some attack helicopters subscribe to my channel as well. And 96.5% male. Yeah, it's kind of just like YouTube gaming in general. I think most channels of my kind will be at least like 95% male. In terms of age and gender, I wouldn't trust this information because I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are under 18 on YouTube lie about it and say they are 18 so they can get access to age-restricted content, so I wouldn't trust these numbers necessarily. 13 to 17 years, 1.2%. 18 to 24, 43.4%. And 25 to 34, 42.3%. And then it kind of like peters off as you get older, basically. There's like some like 8.5% in 35 to 44. But then after that, it's like a very low percentage. But yeah, like 1.2% in 13 to 17, I just know is not true. At least based on like the people in my Discord. Like there are a lot of people in my Discord that are like, you know, 15, 16, maybe even some that are 14. And so like there's no way it's 1.2%, I don't think. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that would be in the 13 to 17 category are in the 18 to 24 because they say they're 18 when they're not. So yeah, that's my YouTube demographics. Hopefully that was insightful for you. Do you think Smite will benefit from an outside match builder like League of Legends runes? So probably an unpopular opinion based on a video that I made like many years ago that I said like it will be an improvement for Smite to have this system. A lot of people gave me pushback about that and said it wouldn't be a good idea. So maybe an unpopular opinion, but yeah, I think it will be really cool to see some kind of like builder like that where you can just like slightly tweak your stats. You know, it'd be cool for making off rolls. You know, you can, if you want to play like a Baron solo, you can spec a little bit more into like tankiness and utility rather than full damage runes, whatever you would call them in Smite. If you were going to go like Baron mid or something like that. I just think it adds a little bit more complexity to the game, which is probably why people were like against it. People don't like adding more complexity to the game, but personally I do. I think it makes it more interesting. Obviously, you can't go too far with it to the point where it's just an absolute shit show of like no one knows what's going on, but I think some kind of outside match builder could be pretty interesting. Which god do you think has the best overall design, and which god do you think has the worst, gameplay-wise and visually? So, best gameplay design, I have to say it might be a Wheelix. I made a video recently saying she was one of the best designs in Smite. I think like objectively, she's not my most fun god, but she is objectively like one of the best designs in my opinion. The worst gameplay design, I have to say Afro's is pretty trash, man. I know it's very popular and easy to hate on Afro, but Afro's design is real hot garbage. Worst visual design probably goes to Mercury. I just think he's really not that interesting visually. Like I feel like he could be a lot cooler. And then most interesting visual design, I think Cthulhu is really cool. Like just in terms of the visuals of Cthulhu in general and also the way they've done him in Smite, I think it's very cool, especially when he ults and stuff like that. Do you think combining console ranked and PC ranked was a good idea? Overall, yeah. I think combining them and hard resetting was probably a terrible idea because you're just gonna, the hard reset already makes it into a bit of a shit show, and then combining console and PC also makes it into a bit of a shit show as well. I understand why they probably had to do it because people might have like had inflated elo on console, because like in general on average the console power level of players is going to be lower. Like that's just kind of a fact. Like you can come at me if you want saying like I'm being racist against console players or whatever, but like it's just kind of a fact. You know, we saw like worlds where like console players just couldn't really compete against PC players. It's just kind of how it is. And obviously I'm talking about on average. There will be console players that are way better than me, but on average I think it's worse. So you'll probably have like issues where like, you know, the top level console ranked players probably wouldn't be as good as the top level PC ranked players, but will get put in the same lobbies. And so maybe that's why they had to hard reset but it just made ranked a complete shit show at the start, and it still kind of is in a way. But yeah, I think long term it's definitely a good idea and will help increase the ranked player base once everyone kind of settles down into like what elo they really should be in. What season of Smite was the best in your opinion? I really miss the dirty bubble times. I have to say I probably don't miss the dirty bubble meta. It'd be funny to play it again for like a week, but I wouldn't want it to be like a permanent thing. Season that was the best, I want to say for the moment probably year 10. But we haven't seen the entire season yet. Season 2 was also really fun. You know, below our tank meta, I mentioned it before in this video, was a lot of fun. What was the worst balance change, buff, nerf, or rework for an item or god across the Smite seasons? I think this has to be the golden bow buff, right? Maybe the haste and fatalis buff, but I think the golden bow buff was worse, where they increased the damage that it dealt to minions and then gave throwing dagger that passive as well. That just completely broke the ADC roll and immediately got the item removed within like a couple of patches. How does your family feel about you being a full-time YouTuber? They're very supportive about it for the most part. I do get the feeling sort of that my parents don't necessarily get it fully, but they're very supportive of it, you know, even though they don't necessarily fully get it in the same way that someone my age would. My brother definitely gets it. My brother's more my age. He's like 3 years older than me or something, so he definitely gets it. My dad watches like all my videos for some reason. I don't understand why he watches all my videos, but I respect it. I respect it. Scalping Snake, hey, congrats. I was actually wondering how YouTube finances work with someone for a channel of your size. With how often you upload, is there a general amount of views you need to get to be happy with how much you'd make, or see it in a different way in terms of uploading X, getting X amount of views in a month, etc.? So there's a few different things that kind of go into how much you would make from YouTube. I have a more in-depth video on this actually that I put up on my channel about how much I make, where I go through my analytics and like different revenue sources and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a more in-depth explanation, I'll link that video down below. It's fairly recent, so it should be relatively accurate to my channel at the moment. But in a brief way, the amount of money you make depends on like watch time more so than it depends on views necessarily. Because the longer people watch, you know, if it's a video that's over 8 minutes, obviously you can put mid-roll ads in it and stuff like that. So you will get more money the longer people watch because they're more likely to get hit with more ads, basically, and that's how you make your money on YouTube. Obviously, I have different revenue sources as well. I have YouTube memberships where people donate directly. I have my nexus.gg gem link where if you buy gems on it, you can support the channel that way. And I have sponsorship deals occasionally as well, like, you know, once a month, once every 2 months or so, I'll get like a sponsorship deal that gives me like a lump sum kind of payout sort of thing. So there's like different revenue sources that I have, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily depend on the like direct amount of views I'm getting on each video or per month. It is more so based on watch time. Premise the King asks, from one content creator to one who wants to be one, what's the best thing to draw in Smite fans? Probably Aphrodite Booba in the thumbnail. That's usually what draws people in the most. Why did you pick the name Intersect? What's the story behind it? So I think I've had this one in a Q&A before. There is really no story behind it whatsoever. When I was originally creating my channel back in like 2016, and I was like 15 years old at the time or something, or 15 or 16 years old, I just thought the idea of intersect sounded pretty cool. It was a cool word. And I put the 3 in it purely to like, for recognition purposes, because as a small channel, I felt like people are going to be searching the word intersect, and then it's going to come up with like videos about intersections of things, instead of, you know, actually like my channel. So I put the 3 in there so that people can search it with the 3, and then it's guaranteed to come up with my channel. If you could select one subtype to get new gods, what would it be? Example, magical assassins, support warriors, ability hunters, etc. Probably magical assassins. You know, we have Alquang, and arguably Hebo kind of is close to a magical assassin, but not quite. But yeah, I would definitely love to see more magical assassins. Alquang, he's annoying to play against, but he's a lot of fun to play as. Same thing with Hebo, actually, so maybe it's just a thing where, like, magical assassin style characters are, like, kind of annoying, but I do like them a lot. What would be the inter item? What would you put into the game regardless of whether it breaks things or not? So I do have a video, another shameless plug here for like the 25th time in this video. I have a video going over like 5 custom items that I created for the game with some cool effects on them, so you can check that out. In terms of like an item, regardless of if it breaks things or not, I would like to see some kind of either protections or health conversion to power, like old Runeforge Hammer. It might break the game with tanks and stuff like that, but I think it'd be very cool to use. Who's your favorite support to play as? As in for who do you think is the most fun to play? Most fun support. Bacchus is up there. Geb is up there. Hercules is up there. Hercules is a very underrated fun support in my opinion. Maybe I'll go with Hercules actually, because you can kind of like hard carry with Hercules support as well. Mainly in the early game, like your damage falls off late and you can't just like hard carry completely, but you can snowball your team, get your ADC and mid a lead by just like one-shotting people, pulling them in. So Herc support is a lot of fun, especially if you just want to carry random ranked and casuals. What's your favorite item from any point in the game's history? Oh, interesting. I think old Glad Shield probably has to take that spot. The healing Glad Shield tier 2 version. That item was just so much fun, you know. Absolutely broken on King Arthur, really good on others like Wukong and Kukulkan. Made solo lane a little bit too polarized, arguably, but it was so much fun for the gods that could abuse it. Over the time of you playing the game, would you say Smite has gotten worse in some aspects, and if so, how? So yeah, in general, I think the game has gotten better over my time playing it, but in terms of some aspects that it's got worse in, definitely monetization, in my opinion. You know, all the chests that have been added, battle passes are okay, I don't mind battle passes, but like the chests that have been added, the fact that direct purchase skins have gone up from like, they used to be all like 600 gems back in the day, maybe even 800. They've now gone up to being like 1200 gems for most of the direct purchase skins, which is just kind of annoying. And you know, they've done this thing where like gems haven't gotten more expensive, but everything costs more gems, so like things do cost more overall. And I get like inflation is a thing, but it feels like it's gone up way more than like it's outpaced inflation basically, and the monetization has probably gotten worse over my time playing, considering I joined at like the end of open beta where like the monetization was basically just you buy a skin and you get a skin. What season of Smite was the most fun to make content for, and what was the worst? Interesting. I have to say I think year 10 has been the most fun to make content for. There's been like so much new stuff that I've had a lot of good ideas for videos and stuff like that, and I can cover the news and things. The worst to make content for, that's interesting because I wasn't making content back in like season 3 and 4 really. I think I was, but I was making like random montage videos and not really the kind of content that I make now. I think season 3 and 4 would have been the worst if I was actually making consistent content for them. But other than that, maybe like late season 6 potentially, because we'd had that same map for a while at that point, and like there wasn't really that much change coming to the game, so there wasn't much to cover news-wise, and like it's kind of hard to find ideas for videos when nothing's really changing in the game. So any of the periods where it was kind of like stagnating and there wasn't like a new map or like new cool stuff being added, probably those. What caused you to start playing Smite? Was it because of the mythology, the gameplay, just wanted to try a new type of game? So basically it was on a recommendation from my friends. They said, this game's pretty cool, the characters have big booba, you should probably try it. And I was like, alright, let's check this out. And it was a pretty cool game, and we all enjoyed it, and still play it to this day. In your opinion, what god has stayed relevant the longest through the most item and meta changes? Oh, interesting. I feel like Achilles is always relevant, right? Not only does he have an execute, which kind of keeps him a little bit relevant, but he's also very flexible in terms of his playstyle. Like, he's seen a little bit of support play, but he also plays solo and jungle, like, consistently really well. So regardless of if it's a tank meta or a damage meta, you can play Achilles depending on the role. Maybe if I had a look through the gods list, I could potentially find someone that's been more consistent, but I feel like Achilles has been very consistent overall since his release. I don't think there's ever been a time where Achilles has been bad. He's just been, like, balanced or really good. Why did Cerberus go for Freya and not Aphrodite? I mean, Aphrodite being the goddess of love, you know, probably a few STIs going on around there, so I imagine that's probably Cerberus has got like STI radar. Probably just decided, you know, Freya's a bit of a safer bet. Do you think they should bring back PvE adventures? Absolutely. The Trials of King Hercules, Shadows over Hercopolis, they were some of the most fun adventures. I had a lot of fun doing those, so yeah, 100% bring those back. What is your favorite SPL team? It's got to be the Epsilon Esports / NRG / Panthera roster from back in season 2 and 3 when they won Worlds back to back. Yeah, adapting Emilito, Dimi, Irafa, and Yaman. I think that was the roster. Yeah, absolutely my favorite SPL team of all time. How long do you think Smite will be alive? 5 more years, maybe another 10? What's your opinion? Honestly, I have no idea. The thing is with these kind of live service games is we haven't really seen any of them like die just for being around too long. You know, like even World of Warcraft is still going strong, Dota's still going strong, League is still going strong. So, I mean, arguably League isn't going as strong. I've heard a lot of people saying it's been making some terrible changes recently, but some games like this, like live service games, have deliberately killed themselves off by making terrible changes, but none of them have really just faded into irrelevance, which I feel like must happen to Smite, because Smite's made many terrible changes and it's still alive. So I feel like if Smite's ever going to die, it's going to be because it just fades into irrelevance. You know, either people stop being interested in MOBAs or just in Smite in general. And so it's very hard to like kind of predict when that's going to happen. I think 5 more years at least is a reasonable prediction for Smite. I think we will see season 15. 10 years, I'm not sure. I don't know. Again, it's kind of hard to tell when a game like this will just die of old age, basically. Tell us a story of a time you got in trouble as a young adult. So this is a pretty embarrassing one for you guys. In primary school, when I was like, I want to say maybe 8 or 9, maybe even a bit younger than that, I really needed a piss. And basically they had a rule where if you were outside at break or lunchtime, you weren't allowed back in for basically any reason. You had to have a very good reason to actually be allowed back into the school. And I went to one of the entrances, tried to get back in, and the guard, I called them guards basically, but it was either a teacher or like a prefect or something like that. The guard at the door basically said, nah, you can't come in. A piss isn't a valid enough reason. You should have gone before break, because I think it was on break time, not on lunchtime. And yeah, they wouldn't let me in, and basically I really needed a piss, dude. So I just went to like one of the corners of the playground. Admittedly, it was like kind of round the back of like one of the outdoor like classrooms. It was kind of out of the way. No one was watching me or anything. But yeah, I basically went and took a piss in the corner, and then someone came around that area like about 5 or 10 minutes later and clearly had seen me do it. And then they reported me to the teachers, and then they were like, bro, you shouldn't piss outside. That's a shit idea. And I was like, they won't let me in. And they're like, fuck you. You should have gone for a piss when you had the chance. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing back in primary school. Oh, I just realized this said as a young adult, but there you go. Not a young adult story, it was more of a kid story, but there you go. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Very important question. Probably mint choc chip. Although I do really like lemon sorbet if that counts as ice cream. It basically is ice cream, but it's slightly different. Lemon sorbet is very good, or mint choc chip for like a regular ice cream flavor. What was your desired career before YouTube? So probably... It depends how far back you go. I've kind of changed my career idea since I was a kid. You know, everyone has something they want to be as a kid that's like not really realistic and they don't want to do it as an adult. And that was archaeology for me. I wanted to be like an archaeologist when I was a kid. But yeah, in terms of like an actual career I genuinely considered as an adult, it will probably be what I got my degree in, which is computer systems engineering, so some kind of like computing technician style thing. And that's probably what I'll go back to if I end up quitting YouTube or fade into irrelevance or whatever. I'll probably end up going with a career in computing of some kind. What game would you rather have YouTube success with, if any, as in you enjoy it more, and if it's possible to make a living, would you switch in a heartbeat? So in terms of enjoying it more, there actually isn't. The reason I do Smite on my channel and the reason I started with Smite is because it's the game I enjoy the most and I enjoy creating content for the most. I mean, I guess it'd be nice to be a really successful like Minecraft or Fortnite YouTuber purely for the fact that I will be rich as fuck. Like the successful Minecraft and Fortnite YouTubers are probably making millions a month. But in terms of enjoying it the most, it actually is Smite, genuinely. Tell us your dream Smite skin collab. I think I've mentioned this in the video before, but definitely some kind of Pokemon Battle Pass or event. If they did that, I would just insta-buy everything, no matter the price, pretty much. Do you play Duel ranked? And if so, would you upload some games? Thanks for answering. You're welcome, but no, I do not play Duel. Duel, I hate that mode, dude. It's all just hunters or like some cringe basic attacking assassins. It's basically everything I hate about Smite in a game mode. What part of England are you from? Nice to see a Smite content creator from this side of the Atlantic. Indeed. A lot of people think I'm American, but I am from England. I'm from like northwest England, Yorkshire, basically. Congratulations on 100k, thank you. I was wondering if there was going to be any Intersect merch. I would love a hoodie. Also, Yumiro P needs nerf. Very true. Yumiro P needs nerf. In terms of merch, I've thought about it. Would there be interest? Leave a comment down below if you'd be interested in an exact merch, and I'll maybe gauge the interest based on that, because I would be down to do it. I feel like there won't be that much interest in like some random spinning Kuzenbo icon YouTube channel merch. Obviously, it wouldn't just be a Kuzenbo picture on it. It would be like more interesting than that. You know, maybe like a kind of minimalist, like today we become legends design or something like that. It looks like a motivational merch rather than like a Smite YouTuber merch, because I feel like, for me personally, I wouldn't want to walk around in public with Smite merch on. That's just like me. Maybe you guys would. I don't know. But yeah, let me know if there's any interest in that. How do you solo carry in any role? So for mid, ADC, and jungle, you just play those roles. You can solo carry from those roles, no problem. For solo and support, build a little bit of damage. You know, in support, slot in a pendant and a reaver or something. In solo, just, you know, if you're ability-based, rush solely to in lane or something by a Heart Seeker. If you're auto-attack based, maybe by kin size or something like that. Just build a little bit of damage in your tank rolls if you really are needing to solo carry and you can't rely on your teammates to deal damage. And obviously from the DPS rolls, just solo carry, that's what you can do. In terms of for the most like solo carry heavy role, just play jungle. If you want to win the most games, play jungle. It has the most influence on the game, especially early and mid. What's the difference between NA and European Smite playstyles? I know this was a thing in the early days of Smite. Yeah, so back in the day when they had like NA, EU, SPL, and then they met at Worlds, like you kind of saw the clash of the metas. It was generally that EU played more defensive and farm focused, and NA played more aggressive and tempo focused. So it would kind of be a clash of like, can EU stave off NA's aggression for the early and mid game and win the late game team fights, or are they going to get like rolled over and snowballed by the NA powerhouses? It was a really interesting dynamic in SPL for sure. What was it about Smite that drew you in, and why did you decide to become a Smite content creator? So, in terms of what drew me in, probably the mythology basis. I thought it was really cool that you could play as like different gods and stuff, but also the gameplay of Smite is just really crisp and fun. Why did I decide to become a Smite content creator? I don't know, just thought it'd be cool. You know, back in like 2016, I was like, let's cut together a few clips, make some hilarious MLG meme-tages. Those obviously didn't do very well. Most likely none of you have ever seen those unless you're one of my like first 100 subscribers or something like that. But yeah, and I just decided, you know what, let's try some like voiceover stuff. I think my first voiceover video was the top 10 most broken gods of all time. And that was a lot of fun to make and did way better than my montage videos, and that's what kind of launched my channel. I just decided, like, you know, I thought it'd be fun to kind of make content, and then eventually it just kind of became a thing where like I had a decent amount of subscribers and could like make a living off of it. When you first started, who did you play the most and why was he or she your first choice? So I think the first god I like really played a lot of was Artemis, and because I was just an arena main back then, and Artemis kind of slaps in arena, you know, you just build crit, you kind of shred everyone. Nemesis released not shortly after I joined, and I spammed Nemesis a lot of release, and she kind of became my main after that, and I basically dropped Artemis, and I haven't played her seriously since. I got way more into Assassins and Warriors after that. But yeah, when it was a complete noob, I was an Artemis arena main, definitely. What's the most valuable thing you've learned by doing YouTube? Probably that not everyone is gonna like you or what you do, and you have to just block some of it out. You know, I get some people that just, I see them commenting on all my videos and they're clearly just hate watchers that just like want to be contrarian and disagree with everything I say and tell me I'm shit. And you just gotta kind of ignore those, because like most of the comments I get are really positive and great, but you just gotta ignore the people that are just gonna hate on you. Like, haters gonna hate, basically. Okay, so we know Jesus will never be added to Smite for obvious reasons. What do you think about the man in Gabriel or other archangels? Oh, interesting. I kind of answered this one previously. I don't think they will do it, but I think it'd be very cool if they would add like horsemen, archangels, Lucifer, that kind of stuff. Were you at any point completely tired of Smite and on the verge of quitting forever? So not on the verge of quitting forever, but I did get a lot of burnout in, I think it was late season 6 or early season 7, late season 7. It was whenever the map was in the snow theme, where like for the final split of the year, they added the snow theme. It might have been season 7 actually, thinking about it. Yeah, it was, because they didn't have an evolving map for season 6, did they? So yeah, it was like before. The launch of Season 8 kind of revitalized me a little bit, but kind of like the end of Season 7, I actually took a break from YouTube entirely and basically entirely from the game. I wasn't on the verge of quitting forever. I fully intended that I was just going to take like a month or two break and then come back, but I was pretty tired of Smite at that time. There wasn't much in terms of updates coming, and I was streaming at the time, and I kind of burnt myself out by streaming Smite like once or twice a week. Have you ever been recognized in public? Not in like public in terms of IRL, no. I get recognized in like, it feels like almost every single Smite game nowadays, you know, at least 50% of my Smite games I get recognized in, which is really cool. I love seeing you guys in game and stuff, but I've never been recognized in like actual IRL public, no. What other non-high-res games do you play? So I guess I've mentioned this before in the Q&A, but we'll answer it again. I played Minecraft, played Hearthstone in the past, played ESO in the past. I don't really play those anymore. Divinity Original Sin 2, obviously. Civilization 6 and Northgard, which is kind of like Nordic-themed RTS version of Civ. I've been playing a lot of that recently. I play shooters occasionally, CSGO, Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, so those are a few games I play that aren't Smite or high-res games. What is your proudest achievement in life? This, straight up. My YouTube channel in general, hitting 100k, whatever you want to say, you know, my YouTube channel basically is my proudest achievement. I do have a degree, but that's not anywhere near as, I didn't put anywhere near as much work into my degree as I did into my YouTube channel, if I'm completely honest. You know, maybe in terms of condensed, because it was into 3 years, maybe like the average amount of work I did in those years, it was more for my university degree, but in terms of spread out across the entire life of my YouTube channel, I've definitely put more work into YouTube than I did into my degree. What is the most unhinged / insane comment you've ever gotten on a video, if you remember? So I don't really have a specific comment, but there is this one guy, I'm not going to name him, just because I'm not going to name and shame, but he subscribed to my channel, and because in YouTube Studio, you can see if they've been subscribed to your channel if you have public subscribers on. Like, not everyone has public subscriptions enabled, but if you have public subscriptions enabled, I can see if you're subscribed to my channel and how long you've been subscribed. This guy has been subscribed for 5 years to my channel. He comments on basically every single video, and every time it's a negative comment that's just saying that I'm shit and the video was terrible. I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, that seems a bit unhinged to me. Why are you still watching my content just to leave a hate comment on it, and you've been subscribed for 5 years watching basically every single video just to leave a hate comment and say it's bad? If you really dislike my channel, that's completely fine. But why would you leave a comment and watch every single video? I mean, you're basically just giving me ad revenue at that point, unless you have ad blocker. Yeah, I don't really get that. You know, if you don't like my channel, why don't you go watch a channel that you actually do enjoy? It feels like a bit of a waste of his time. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. What do you honestly dislike about YouTube, and what do you like about it? If you could change your first YouTube video, would you? So if I could change my first YouTube video, nah, I probably wouldn't. You know, it's a nice relic of the first thing that I ever made, that Last Night montage. What do I honestly dislike about YouTube? So I mentioned this before, but probably like the monetization policy I think is way too restrictive and just treats it like everyone on YouTube as a child, whereas like it should be based more on like the actual demographics of your channel. Like, I think most people that watch my channel and a lot of other channels like mine do not care if I swear in my videos, unless I'm literally doing it like every single sentence, which I don't. And you can get like demonetized for that just because of, you know, some kids use YouTube. Like, YouTube Kids exists as a thing for that. Like, if you want to have a different monetization policy on YouTube Kids that is like you're not allowed to swear, that's completely fine. I understand you probably don't want to be swearing if you've got 8-year-olds watching your videos. It's probably not a great idea. But, you know, most of my audience, if you go by YouTube analytics, 98% of my audience is over the age of 18, so I should have no problem swearing. But even if you go by what I think my YouTube analytics actually is, because some people lie about it, I probably have, you know, not many people under the age of 15 that watch me, and, you know, 15-year-olds swear all the time. That's just what it is. And in terms of things I do like about it, though, it's a very good way to, like, get exposure. The algorithm, as much as everyone hates it, it's one of the best ways to actually, like, start up a career in this kind of thing. You know, it's a lot better than Twitch. Getting discovered on Twitch is damn near impossible unless you get someone else to, like, shout you out or, like, rage you, or, you know, you start some kind of Twitter controversy and then link people to your Twitch or whatever. It's very hard to actually, like, grow on Twitch from nothing. You know, most people that are on Twitch stream to 0 viewers. That's just how it is. Whereas, like, YouTube, I feel like it's a lot easier to get picked up by the algorithm and actually, like, get going. It's not easy by any means, and you do require some luck for it. I always say that YouTube, like, success on YouTube is 33% luck, 33% skill, 33% dedication. You know, you got to upload consistently, you got to upload good videos, and you got to get picked up by the algorithm. That's basically like the 3 pillars of YouTube. What did you go to uni for? So I actually mentioned this in one of the previous questions, but yeah, I went to uni for computer systems engineering. Was there ever a time you seriously considered quitting YouTube for good? No, I don't think so. In, like, the early days, I wasn't, you know, putting anywhere near as much time and effort as I do into the channel nowadays, and so there was no real reason for me to want to quit it. You know, I was just making random fun videos, and then ever since I've been putting a lot of effort into it, it's been very rewarding, because, you know, I've been getting big subscriber growth, and I now do it for a living and stuff like that. No, there's never been a time where I want to quit YouTube. Has your mom ever watched one of your videos? Yeah, she has. She has. She doesn't watch as many of them as my dad, I don't think. For some reason, my dad watches, like, every video. I don't know how he gets entertainment out of it, dude. He doesn't even play Smite, but, yeah, my mom has also watched a fair few of my videos, I think, but she doesn't watch every single one. I'm at the petrol station. You want anything? Yeah, grab me a Red Bull. Appreciated. How tall are you? I'm 6'2". 6'2". I don't know how much that is in centimeters, but you can probably convert it. I mean, most people are American. You probably use feet and inches, so I'm 6'2". Why does everyone hate Arena? I can't speak for everyone, but personally, Arena just bores me. There's just not enough interesting to do. It's just Unga Munga throw abilities at people. I much prefer a game up with a little bit more complexity and other things to do other than just team fight constantly. Who's the most cringe Smite YouTuber? You're watching him right now. You're watching him right now. Do you play anyone other than Brian in Tekken 7? I don't know if you ever mentioned. Yeah, Brian's not actually my main. I do play a lot of Brian, but Geese is my main in Tekken 7. I've also played a bit of Anna, a bit of Akuma, a bit of Fakumram, a bit of Paul. I play like quite a wide variety of characters in Tekken 7, but Geese is my main and Brian's my secondary. Have you ever considered playing on console? No, because I don't own a console that could reasonably play Smite. I own a Switch, but screw playing Smite on Switch. But I wouldn't mind playing on, like, just controller, like on PC with controller, because I do own some PS4 controllers, so I could potentially do that for a video. That might be funny. Love to see you hit this milestone. Thank you. I use your tips all the time for when I hit a wall in improvement, but I gotta ask, how long did it take you to get as skilled as you are now? I would argue I kind of plateaued around, like, season 5 or 6. That's when I kind of, like, reached, not my peak skill. I probably have been getting better since then, but nowhere near as much as, like, you know, from, like, season 3 to season 5, I was, like, really improving a lot. I mean, I've been playing since open beta, so I guess you could say it's taken me about 10 years, 9 or 10 years to get as good as I am now, but in terms of, like, when I reached my plateau where I was, like, going like this and then kind of leveled off, probably around season 5 or 6, so from open beta, that's about 6 years. If you had 100k gems, maybe you guys have 100k gems now, you know? What would you do with them? What specific skins would you buy with them, etc.? I don't know, dude. 100k gems would buy me a lot of things. I'll probably just sit with them on my account, to be honest, and just know that I can buy anything when it comes out, you know, when it drops. Even like a tier 5, I could just buy it straight up when it comes out. I'll probably just rather have the security of that, you know, knowing I can buy anything, because there isn't really any... There probably is a lot of skins if I had a full look through the catalog that I would want to buy if I had a lot of gems. But for the most part, I just, like, I sit with, like, you know, a few thousand gems on my account just ready for if, like, a new skin drops that I do like. I don't tend to, like, buy gems as I see a skin and then, you know, buy it. I usually just buy, like, an 8k pack and then just leave those on my account and just buy skins if they come out that I like. I don't really, like, put 8k gems on and then buy 8k gems worth of skins immediately. I just, like, sit with them on my account. Following on from Nico's question from the previous Q&A, have you changed any of your PC specs? So, yes, I have, actually. I've been upgrading recently. I got a new RAM, so I've now got 32 gigs of 3200 megahertz DDR4 RGB RAM, of course. Upgraded my GPU to a Radeon RX 7900 XTX, which is like basically the AMD flagship card. And soon I'm going to be upgrading my CPU. I think I mentioned this when I saw like those reviews when I opened up YouTube earlier in the Q&A. Basically, my current i7-9700K is bottlenecking my GPU pretty hard. You know, I've got the AMD flagship GPU, and I've got an Intel not flagship CPU from, I think, 6 years ago or something like that now, so it's kind of bottlenecking me pretty hard. I'm going to be upgrading to probably one of the new Ryzen 9 or Ryzen 7 X3D CPUs that are launching pretty soon, which is going to require a motherboard upgrade as well, because I'm going to be going from LGA 1151, which is the current socket I'm on for Intel. I'm going to have to go to AM5, which is an AMD socket, so I'm going to have to get a new motherboard for that as well. And depending on which CPU I get, it's probably going to be DDR5 instead of DDR4 for the RAM, so I may also have to get new RAM. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot, but then I'm going to have like an absolute beast PC by the end of it, whereas like my old PC was just decent. It wasn't really beast by any means. And that's all the questions we have. That's 100 questions for the Q&A. Hopefully you guys got some gems. There was quite a few packs that should be popping up on the screen throughout the video, so hopefully you guys got some, and congratulations if you did. I just wanted to give a little back to the community with that 100k gem giveaway, and hopefully if you guys asked a question, it got answered. I couldn't answer all of them. A lot of them were either repeat questions that I've seen already, and so I couldn't really answer them, and I'll just take in the first person that asked that question. Or just like in general, I didn't have time to do more than 100 questions. This video is already probably extremely long. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, learned something about me or YouTube or Smite in general or whatever, and I will catch you guys in another one later on. Thank you once again for 100k. I really appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you guys, and I will catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.